Don't complain if people target you. Don't complain if people criticize you. Don't complain if people try to divide you. Till now, you were on the Jan Lokpal issue, hence there was a halo around you. You've entered politics, be ready for a little bit of the mud being spilt on you. Manisha Priyam, should Team Anna be prepared for more attacks?
Yeah, mud being spilt is fine, but I'm appalled and amazed at the fact that this is the status of civil liberties in our country, that you have chappals being hurled and people entering, a noted lawyer's chamber and hitting out at him. So that is a cause of concern for me. I don't know whether there is a central control room which is behind all these violence together, or is the pattern in this violence as faceless as corruption itself is. Now, so I strongly condemn the attack. There can be no two ways about this. There can be, but the issue about the facing of flack from people, that I think the moment Team Anna has entered Uttar Pradesh, they have to be ready now to face the flack. Because if you realize what Mr. Janardhan Thakur was saying in his one moment of glory was that he did not speak these issues in Bundelkhand. So what you have to realize is that there are, as you enter northern parts of our country, there are millions of voiceless poor. And there, if you talk about central issues, there if you talk about a Kalmadi being in jail, a Raja being in jail, is not going to appeal to people as much as the fact that they are going through grueling poverty, a lot of corruption on a daily basis. So the issues that this team picks up cannot any longer be the central kind of issues, one parliament, one particular political party. The challenge in front of the movement will be, if they want to retain their appeal in Uttar Pradesh, will be, in a sense, to articulate the issues of the people in Uttar Pradesh. And there I feel it is
wanting. Can they do that?
I heard Mr. Aravind Kejriwal's speech even after the unfortunate attack on him had happened, and I think the main attack that he was going on was still against the Congress. Only towards the end of his speech did he mention a line about Mayawati, and together with it he also mentioned a couple of lines about what had happened in Mulayam Singh's regime. When he attacked, when he said whatever he had to say about Mayawati, he did not even talk about the park which has been opened only a day ago.
Why didn't he?
So to that extent, the challenge to creativity of the team will be as to how genuinely or honestly they are articulating the Uttar Pradesh issues.
Yes. So Abhinandan, this question is being asked again and again. As a Team Anna member, do you feel, and as a citizen, do you feel, why did Arvind Kejriwal not raise the issue of Mayawati's 600, 700 crore profligacy over that park as aggressively as he did his points of view against the Congress party? Why is he not talking about the Samajwadi Party's own record?
Is the suggestion that he didn't mention the park seen as an endorsement of Mayawati's politics? Because I heard the speech too. He very extensively spoke about the medical scam. He spoke about all the subsequent scams that have come up in UP. I would just like to repeat again two things. There were two incorrect statements made during this debate. One, the gentleman said that Team Anna has claimed from the beginning that we have a halo around our head and we are not in politics. I would just like everybody to revisit from Jantar Mantar tapes where Manish, Arvind have said, हम राजनीति में हैं, लेकिन हम चुनाव नहीं लड़ेंगे, क्योंकि governance is राजनीति. So I don't know who has started making this statement and now it is being bandied about as a truth, as an axiom from where we started. That was never the case. No one stated it. I'd like to, if someone is saying someone stated it, I'd like to know who stated it when, because I have been following this. No one stated it.
If they are party political, they might as well announce themselves as another party.
The second thing is that why target a political party? That make your position clear. It is very clear that it is for the passage of the Lokpal bill, and the people who are in a position to do so are being pressured. Now the gentleman said that why don't you put a candidate in Hisar and put a clean candidate in Hisar. If the party with the largest amount of seats in parliament says it is very difficult for us to pass the Lokpal bill, you're saying one candidate will be able to do it? I mean, let's be realistic. I mean, it has to be result oriented. It can't be rhetoric and talk about corruption in a general sense and about being targeted. Again, there is a misconception that it is just now that Team Anna suddenly realized that you will face flack if you come up. It has been covered in TV studios and channels, but attacks have been on for the past 7 years. I personally know Arvind has been attacked both politically and in other ways, and they're all used to it. It is not new to any of them. So these are just three misconceptions I would like to clarify right now.
But to put on record here, everyone, everyone who has seen that dastardly attack, the attempt, the fact that violence has now entered the fray of fighting those who are fighting against corruption is itself totally condemnable. Larger issues are there. Shazia Ilmi is a member of India Against Corruption. She's a member of Team Anna, and she was also in Lucknow at that event where Aravind was attacked. So before I ask you, Shazia, why you think he was attacked, what really happened out there in those minutes when he was targeted?
Well, somebody just came up really close to Aravind Kejriwal and threw a slipper at him, and he actually got hit pretty badly. And there were a lot of people around, and they kind of caught hold of the guy and they started roughing him up. And Arvind's first concern was, and all of us went running, and we were told to look after the guy instead. And we don't know who he was, and he talked about the Prime Minister's letter. He wanted to know about what Aravind felt about what Prashant Bhushan had said, and he felt that Aravind was misleading the campaign in some sort of way, and he should have distanced himself from Prashant Bhushan. And he also mentioned Prime Minister's letter.
Why is Aravind Kejriwal personally appearing to be more the target of criticism, cynics, politicians, and even people seeking their 5 minutes of infamy, like the person who threw a slipper at him? Why is Aravind Kejriwal so much of a target?
No, Prashant has been attacked earlier. Shanti Bhushan and Prashant Bhushan, the tapes that came out. So right from the outset, there has been a vilification campaign. There is a smear campaign, and it's something or the other is always being used to kind of scuttle the debate and make it appear trite. Instead of talking about Jan Lokpal, if you notice, even from the Congress, while PM writes a letter of assurance, Digvijay Singh keeps attacking Team Anna. I mean, now they say they respect Anna himself, but they attack everyone else. So, and Aravind, of course, is in a sense the main face. He runs the show in terms of where organization is concerned. Though Santosh Hegde and Shanti Bhushan and Prashant Bhushan together, along with core committee, make all the decisions.
May I just encourage a little bit of a conversation here? Shazia Ilmi, please stay there, because Gaurav Bakshi, I don't know if you know him, is a volunteer and supporter of Team Anna as well. He's joining us from our studios in Delhi. And a little while earlier, before you came on, Gaurav shared some apprehension as a member of Team Anna with the political direction this particular campaign was taking. Gaurav, I would like you to communicate your concerns directly with Shazia, then we can have that chat on whether Team Anna is united in taking this straightforward political path. Gaurav, what were your concerns?
Right, no, I was not necessarily, in terms of the direction, I said it was fine. In terms of some of the communication within the team, and the strategic decisions which are being taken, I feel it would be better to have it more consensus based, which is possibly lacking at this moment. I know Shazia very well, by the way, Shazia and Abhinandan here, so we're all colleagues,
yes,
part of the movement. So there are certain, I would say, private conversations happening within the team where people have voiced some of these differences, and it would be as capable as a person that Aravind is, and he's done a fantastic job with the movement. As Shazia said, he's been the one behind, he's been the pillar of strength for the movement, so nothing can take away that credibility of what he's done. Naturally, everyone has limitations, so does Aravind, and some of the limitations can be addressed in a constructive way. The differences can be pulled together to take this direction, this movement forward, which truly works for the well-being of the nation. We have that opportunity now. Rather than letting it fritter away, my hope is we can all come together and work on that.
Arnab,
yes, Shaz. No, you see, this is all in the backdrop of Rajendra Singh saying that I dissociate with this team. The team is turning political. There were statements indicating that on Hisar. So there are some people like Rajendra Singh who have dissociated themselves from the team because it's taking political. Yes, Shazia.
Arnab, may I say something here?
Okay, before Arnab, Shazia, yes, Sankarshan wanted to say something there. Yes.
Arnab, the objection, I don't think the objections are because the team is turning political. There is nothing wrong in being political, and I think Team Anna know that, and they espouse the political cause, and they do so openly. The problem is with taking political sides, which I think some people in Team Anna have problems with. It's not with the politics as such, but party politics.
Shazia.
Well, as we know, the Congress is the largest party. We have to prevail upon Congress to introduce and pass the bill and assure an early passage of the bill. So we can only put pressure on Congress. If we were to say boycott all the parties, I mean, it would be very easy for the political class to get together and cheer together, you know, for Anna, against Anna. But this is very specific. Our goal post is one, and which is pass the bill, have a good bill, have it in place, and we want to ensure that's done. Even if Mayawati wants it or Mulayam Singh wants it, they can't do it on their own steam. It has to be the Congress party. It has to be the largest party. And because we seem to be doing this to Congress, a lot of people feel from within the movement or outside, I don't know, that we're probably promoting BJP. But BJP gets to be the default beneficiary. Anna himself has said, has asked the Congress not to allow BJP to take the credit for it. So it's up to the Congress really to make most of it.
Kumi Kapoor felt you're shifting the goalposts. Kumi, that you're shifting the goalposts. Kumi.
Yes, I think so, because as Shankarshan said, you've really now entered into the fray of both electoral politics and political party supporting one party against another. And for what purpose? I mean, if your goal is corruption, then there are a lot of issues at stake, and you support candidates who are known to be corrupt indirectly on the grounds that you have only one aim in mind, which is to pass the Lokpal bill. But at the same time, I'd like to say that, you know, the whole atmosphere has got vitiated on the subject of this Anna movement, and both sides are responsible, and some of this unfortunate violence that we are now seeing is a result of all this, because instead of discussing the Lokpal bill and the points of the Lokpal bill and having an honest debate, the idea is to pull down members, disprove their credibility, and get away from the key issues. And that is how the whole debate is turning out.
I think
that's very well spoken.
The goalpost is the Lokpal bill. There are different ways to fight corruption. Ours is to introduce a strong bill. The crusade has been against corruption, and we stand together on that. The entire group, the 25 core committee members, and 2 of them have resigned today and have offered their resignation and given the reasons. And they all got together. The consensus, the mandate was corruption. And it was not corruption in in a general sort of a way, generic sort of terms, but Prevention of Corruption Act, Lokpal bill. So yes, we got together on that, and on that.
Certainly, I want to, Siddharth, you know, we are going around in circles there. Do you think they've got their long-term strategy right, Team Anna? Have they got their long-term strategy right?
You know, I think the problem with Hisar, and that's a manifestation of, I think it's tactical brilliance on the one hand. It's a short-term tactical brilliance, but I think a strategic error. They should have waited to see the shape that the Lokpal bill takes through the standing committee and the winter session, right? When Anna announced during his protest at Ramlila that they will monitor the stand taken by individual MPs, and those MPs who on the floor of the House vote against a strong Lokpal, the Team Anna group will campaign against them in the future and ensure that they get defeated. That was, I think, a far more sensible long-term strategy, and I still feel that that is a strategy that the party should get back to. You know, once you do it that way, you're in a sense issuing notice to MPs across all parties that, look, we're watching you. We want to see if you reflect popular concerns. If you don't, we reserve the right to campaign against you. But doing this sort of preemptive thing at Hisar, they've scored a tactical victory, definitely. I think the Congress, of course, can argue that, well, it's a fracturing of the Jat vote or not. You know, you give all kinds of cephalogical reasons why the Congress chap lost his deposit in Hisar. But the fact is, psychologically, has got a bit boost, and the Congress will be a back foot, right? But I think a far more durable, sensible strategy would have been to see merges. If what you get is an emasculated Lokpal bill, then you campaign is fine. We're now going to defeat all these MPs who stood for preemptive way. I think.
Yes, I think
it's been slightly problematic.
Arnab, may I just say something, please?
No, Abhinandan, you're going to have to decide as a team whether you want to have political influence or moral influence. What is more important for Team Anna? Political influence or moral influence? Yes, Abhinandan.
what Mr.
Passing of Lokpal.
See, moral influence by itself is important because, you know, like Aravind made the speech today, during the movement, there were cops who came up to us and said, we've stopped taking bribes ever since this movement started, the ones who were guarding the gate. I mean, there were such stories of, they really, you know, made your hair stand on end. But those are not going to weed out corruption. A law is. I just want to say, what makes us nervous is consistency in a position. See, we can speculate who is honest, who is not, pull so and so down, pull so and so down. Consistency in your position. A party who till a few months ago was saying that we want to pass an effective anti-corruption law and we are doing our best, but you should talk to other parties. It's not just up to us. We don't have the numbers to do it. Those who could not pass a bill to make a statutory body today are saying, you know, we are considering constitutional amendment for a constitutional body. I find that a bit bizarre. So it would make me nervous. I think if there was, if you say that we have the numbers for a statutory body, and now we're going out and upping it, and we'll make a constitutional body.
I think we come back to
yesterday. Those who are telling us you are, you know, asking the wrong. So that's why it's just pressure that you build in different ways. And if Rajendra Singh ji has another way of doing it, sure, he must.
Sure. There are clearly divergent views. I'm running short of time tonight. Question simply is this. If Team Anna has entered the political fray in Uttar Pradesh, does it have the apparatus, the structure and the established leadership to do so? In the context of today's attack, many questions will be raised. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for joining me on that debate tonight.